What's up, everybody? This is Last Minute Movies. Today we're going to be talking about the Batman. It's coming out next weekend, so, I thought that I would gather my good friends here. We got Egor of Last Minute Movies. We have Brooks Ewald, my good friend that I've known for a very long time. And we have Joe V. Runs, another good friend who is a huge comic book nerd, stuff like that. So all of us are ready to see this movie. We're very excited, except maybe Egor. And we're just going to talk about it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. So I guess where we could first start off with is we could sort of just kind of like talk about like how this movie was even made. Because like so basically this movie was made because of like the complete like embers of the shit fire that's left of DC after they completely that was after they completely failed in Justice League. Not the Zack Snyder one, although that movie also sucks, but the the Whedon cut, which is infinitely worse. We can admit that. So yeah,
we've all been there. We all remember.
Exactly.
We've been there, done that.
Yeah, exactly. So originally what was supposed to happen is Ben Affleck was actually supposed to do this film. It was going to be like a solo Batman film for his specific Batman, and I think they were going to fight like Deathstroke or something like that, which is pretty cool. But then like, the Whedon cut happened, and Joss Whedon, being the he is, just kind of like ruined that and made Ben Affleck not want to be Batman anymore. And then he realized that he wanted to go off with J-Lo into the sunset with all his money, which I don't blame him for. I don't blame him for that. But yeah, so then what happened is that, in my opinion, I say this movie kind of like became like what it is because of the success of Joker. They took like a very well-known comic book character, and they made like a solo film out of it, and they did a lot of like interesting, weird kind of stuff, like a very like dramatic character study of this iconic comic book character, and it seems to me that they're going to do the same thing here. They picked an excellent director in Matt Reeves in order to do this. I mean, Matt Reeves has done some of the best shit of all time, right? He's done just the Planet of the Apes prequel trilogy. He didn't do all of them, but he did Dawn and he did War. I don't know if any of you guys have seen those films, but those films are fucking incredible, and you should see them.
Oh, they were.
They're good.
Yeah.
It's good.
They're
good filmmaking.
Absolutely
really
fantastic.
good.
I'm not a big fan of the plot of the Planet of the Apes, just because I feel like I don't like the idea, but the filmmaking is great.
Yeah, it's great.
No complaints.
And how he deconstructed Caesar in War of the Planet of the Apes and making it, Caesar, this character full of vengeance and anger, and how he had to redeem himself at the end of the film.
Yep.
It gives me high hopes that he's going to be able to do the same for Batman, because it kind of seems like they're tackling like a bit of a similar story and all of that.
I mean, there's definitely similar, like, there's room for the same atmosphere and there's room for the same tones, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he knows how to handle his tension. So, like, you're right, Ali. I'm excited about it in a slightly different way.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like that when the talent of someone is brought into the table, and that someone is like the right man for the job, or woman, they just make good cinema. And it doesn't matter if they made movies like that before or not. It's just a matter of whether or not they have the grasp of the story they're about to tell.
Yeah,
From the trailers and everything else that we've seen affiliated with the film so far, it seems like that the skill is there and the care was put into this. And like the main reason why I'm excited about this is because it has a lot of similarities with Joker, and Joker was incredible. And it also has a lot of these tonal moments that are not like Dark Knight trilogy, but at the same time there certainly are moments that like marry them really, really well thematically.
Yeah.
So it has all the shit that we love,
Yeah.
and it has all of these elements coming together, just like in Joker, that make it a really good, authentic film on its own, with its own tone, with its own story of Batman kind of reimagined, but it keeps all the awesome shit that you come to see in the theater.
Yeah.
And can I just say that it's so rare for a movie like that to like maintain a largely spoiler-free environment. And that's even more exciting.
Like I know absolutely next to nothing about this film.
Absolutely.
Like I have a good outline of what the story might be, but I don't know the specific events that are gonna happen. I think one of the cool things about like what you were saying, like one of like how rare it is for a film like this to be made. I think it's especially more rare because of because like a humongous giant studio like Warner Brothers with a giant property like Batman. I mean, Batman is a very profitable franchise. Not as much as like Spider-Man or anything like that, but he's up there.
You look at the games, the
100%. Yeah, the cartoons, the games, the Arkham series, the Telltale games, like big.
I mean, it's a brand.
Iconic
it's
character.
A brand at this point.
Yeah, like he's top 3 comic characters of all time. And but I think the fact that it seems to me like they're allowing like creative control for this complete creative control for Matt Reeves, like, you know, like no studio interference or anything like that, which is what I'm saying is like the rare thing, because that like almost like never happens. But I'm happy that it's gonna happen, because like, you know, once again, like I'm very confident in saying that I think a lot of these directors who have directed comic book films before, like if you just give them creative control, like they're gonna produce some good stuff. Like it might not be like the greatest film of all time or anything like that, because, you know, but I think it's decent.
Yes, they can.
I mean, okay, you know, like for Christopher Nolan,
The Dark Knight.
But
I'm literally like, look at fucking Dark Knight.
All
of that is, you know, every shot is literally framed after a comic book patterns.
But how many Dark
Knights?
It's all there. But how many Dark Knights are there in comic book films in general? And I love comic book films, but that there's a reason why it's The Dark Knight. Like everyone knows it, you know. So, but I think this film has the potential to rise to those like Dark Knight, Logan, you know. What else? Like what else is really good? Like, you know, V for Vendetta, you know, shit like that. Like I think like Spider-Man 2. Spider-Verse, like I think this film has the potential to rise to that level of greatness, just because of the fact that there's a lot of talent behind there. There's a lot of you know, I mean just look how gorgeous the film looks, man. I mean, that shit.
Stacked cast.
It's stacked cast. Yep. Like the cinematography looks incredible.
They got their acting chops and they got their aesthetic
Paul
chops.
Dano, bro. Dude, Paul Dano's
just
in
the
this.
trailers. The trailers just look gorgeous.
Yeah, exactly. Like
look at the trailers for this compared to like the Snyder Cut or Batman v Superman. Like they're just so much better.
God. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Also, I gotta say, I very rarely see a trailer that is like literally tied around a single scene. But that one just does it so fucking well. Like they went for one scene that's gonna tell us everything aesthetic-wise and everything to expect from the movie, but it didn't give us any of the plot that we didn't already know. And like I don't know, it's like you have to be a certain breed of filmmaker to market your movie this way and to make your movie that way, and you have to have specific breed of filmmakers to come together and make something like that. Which, you know, again, high hopes, man. High hopes.
I think one of the things that's going to be so cool about this movie is how, you know, earlier I was talking about like the character study aspect of it, and how like just in interviews and things that I've read about this movie, it seems to me that they're doing like a very like deep character study on Bruce Wayne and what it means to be like a Wayne itself. So from what I've seen in trailers and stuff like that, it's like this is definitely after Batman's first year of being Batman, and you know he's like this vengeance-riddled character and stuff like that, almost borderline.
He's got baggage.
Like a lot of baggage.
Absolutely.
A lot of baggage.
My one question is, especially if looking at the more of it being like what it means to be a Wayne, are we going to see Martha killed again?
Oh no.
God, I hope we don't see that again. Save Martha.
I hope we don't. Save Martha.
Think about Batman v Superman.
We just like he's just dreaming.
Why'd you
about
say that
his
name?
parents dying, and then Superman just comes out of nowhere, just
Not only,
just
not
goes Martha.
Martha.
they've had
Yeah.
moderate success, but the Joker movie that came out in 2019 was monumental, both from a cinematic standpoint and from a financial standpoint. Critically, it was divided, it was mixed, but overall, one can argue that it was very well made, just like Igor was mentioning about this film.
Absolutely.
And also the Planet of the Apes films. You may not like where the story is going, especially the story of a mentally ill man. And the portrayal.
I mean, yeah, that's basically what he is. Like, so that's what I was gonna say. It leads perfectly into what I'm talking about for this film. So it seems to me like the Riddler being this character like this, you know, who's trying to bring corrupt politicians to justice and stuff like that because Batman doesn't work. But he might be inspired by Batman's certain ways of doing things, but he ultimately recognizes that it doesn't work. So he's calling him out for it. And I think he might know that Bruce is Batman. And then I think he's also, another point he's making is, in a slight scene that I saw when he's talking, Bruce is talking to Falcone, he's saying that, like, oh, your father patched me up and stuff like that, and we were friends. And that, to me, that is exactly from the Telltale games. And Robert Pattinson talked about how, like, the Telltale games and, like, the Arkham, he you know, this film is inspired by, you know, those games. And in the Telltale games, like, the Waynes were fucked. Like, they were bad people. Like, they helped out, like, criminals. They were a part of, like, the corruption and shit like that. Yep. And who knows, if they make a sequel, they might even be a part of the Court of Owls or something like that. But
that would be really interesting because that's a whole other type of darkness for Batman to fight. Some shit that we didn't see in Nolan's stuff, and it's something that is truly its own.
And I think it would fit perfectly for the vibe of this universe.
Yes.
Yeah. If I heard correctly, they signed Robert Pattinson to do 3 movies, right?
Something like that.
Batman.
Yeah.
Did they? Are they trying to Spider-Man this shit?
Trying to Spider-Man.
I mean, come on. It's they're gonna always do sequels and prequels and you know, like
more like trying to Dark Knight that shit.
Yeah. Dark Knight it. And on top of that, they're trying to stay grounded in reality, not have any other superheroes, not have this multiverse. So they're not Spider-Maning this. They're not DCEUing this because the DCEU has just been a mixed bag.
I like how Joe keeps going back to
yeah, you want to call it a mixed bag, Joe? It's a mixed bag of just like
how Joe just
all the terrible things and all the nightmares you can think about.
Yeah, Joe just keeps going back to the DCEU, bro. You gotta let it go.
There's been a couple good things.
We gotta let it go.
I'm thankful for this, guys. I'm just thankful for the Suicide Squad, and I'm gonna check out Peacemaker because I've heard nothing but good things about that.
But
I just hope that they look more at the human aspect of it.
Yeah, which is what
it means to be them and not the unrealistic.
Which is what I'm trying to get together and say, because I think what's gonna happen is this in this film, spoiler alert, because I'm calling this shit right here, right now. I think what's gonna happen is we're gonna see Batman go through this growth of what it means to be Batman, where he's this vengeance-riddled character who's getting revenge for his parents, but once he realizes that his parents weren't good people and got what was coming to them, he realizes that he needs to be a symbol of hope and inspire the people of Gotham instead of being like this almost evil-like character. That's where I think they're gonna go with the story.
I
would like that.
I think
I would like it too.
In the trailer. There's a spot in the trailer where there's a scene with Catwoman and Batman and Catwoman. I can't remember exactly what she says, but she's sort of like warning him, like, "Are you sure you want to go through with this?"
And then he says yes, and then eats her out.
I'm a major Batman fan. He's my favorite superhero. So I'm going into it obviously hoping that it's going to be a success and it's going to be a good film to enjoy watching. I'm interested in seeing the fact that he's just so young, and it's, at least as Bruce Wayne, he's just appearing as younger than he usually is. I think it's going to be a success, just from what we've seen.
I hope.
And the fights, I'm really looking forward to the fight scenes just from the trailers, because they look really well done. So all I can really say is I'm going into it with high expectations, and I think that I'm not going to be disappointed.
Makes sense.
Joe, you want to go next?
Sure. So my expectations for this movie are very similar to Brooks, in the sense that I think this will be both a critically and financially successful film. When it comes to box office, it can make anywhere from $1 billion to $2 billion. You know, the sky's the limit. Same thing with the critic reviews and the audience scores.
That's
it could be. Well, Spider-Man: No Way Home proved that anything is possible, both critically and financially. So why not Batman? Batman is also one of my favorite superheroes, so like all time. He's top 3 next to Spider-Man and Daredevil. Daredevil is probably number 3. Batman's probably number 2, and Spider-Man's probably number 1. I love what
I have the exact same top 3, except for me, it's Spidey, Daredevil, and then Batman.
Spidey, Daredevil, and then Batman.
But I have the same top 3.
That's fair. Yeah, having that.
So you like red over black, basically.
I just love Daredevil.
But yeah, I think that this movie will slap. It will succeed. Matt Reeves will get to make more, and I'm looking forward to see what they have in store for us. So, until then.
Cool.
All
right, your turn, Egor.
Oh, fuck. Okay, Expectations are high. I think I'm kind of expecting a Joker out of this, where it's like really nicely handled in terms of themes, in terms of style, in terms of aesthetic. It definitely has so much going for it. We saw that from the trailers, we saw that from the filmmakers. It's just, it would be dumb to expect this to be a piece of shit, you know? Just like in retrospect, I'm thinking about it, it was dumb to think that No Way Home was gonna be a piece of shit. But
yes, exactly.
yeah, so we have every reason to give this movie high expectations, and I just hope that it's going to drive on originality and like over-deliver, because, like we mentioned earlier, it totally can. So that's my expectation on that.
Awesome. Now I guess I'll leave it with mine. The best, boldest take of the entire group. I'm joking.
I mean,
I'm joking.
you're more obsessed with it than me, so I can't disagree
I'm
with that.
joking. I'm just being an
Least
asshole.
obsessed with this, but from a filmmaking standpoint, he can agree it's looking very good. Greg Fraser, shout out
I was
Yes.
definitely the most hyped about
cinematographer.
No Way Home out of everyone, and I wasn't as hyped about that movie. Anyways, all right. So in all seriousness, though, here are my expectations for this film. I think it's gonna do critically. I think it's gonna do great. I think this is like the Oscar bait of superhero movies. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it
Oscar
could be.
bait as in a good way. I'm not saying like, you know, because I know we use the term Oscar bait and we're like, oh, it's bullshit. But in terms of like character study kind of stuff, I think it has all the potentials of being like a very like good, well-made film that critics are going to eat up and like. So critically, it's going to do great. Financially, I hope it does like amazing. But you know, I don't know, man. Like with the Snyder fanboys kind of being triggered about this film, and then the Marvel fanboys that are like, this is just, who cares, you know, like multiverse and stuff like that. I'm totally exaggerating for the Marvel fanboys, but I don't know. I just hope it does well financially. I'm expecting this to be great. I love Matt Reeves. I love the cast. They're all incredible actors. They all have a lot to bring. In the clips that I've seen, this is going to be unlike any other superhero film I've seen, like in tone. As what I usually say when it comes to this channel and stuff like that, the first and foremost thing that's most important to me is the story. And the story that they're telling, that I, you know, made a prediction on, it seems like the kind of story that I've always wanted to see for the character, so he can evolve. And you know, I hope in the sequels they have like the Bat family, because like the Bat family has like never really shown up in Batman movies. Like, you know, I mean, we've seen like Robin and, you know, Batgirl before, but like, you know,
Ollie,
they were done...
sorry. Are you implying that he's gonna get with Catwoman and we're gonna get cat bad babies?
No.
Yeah. I would love that. I would love
that. Be cool, but I'm saying like him, like we see him like, you know, adopting Dick Grayson, adopting Jason Todd, adopting, you know, Tim Drake, maybe, like, you know, get Batgirl in there, get Barbara Gordon, like, I don't know, something like that. I'm hoping that we can get to see the Bat family potentially, because I feel like this story could have like a really cool arc where we see him start as like this loner young Batman and we see him become a family man at the end of the series. I think that'd be like a perfect arc for this specific Batman. So I hope we get to see that. I've rambled on long enough though. With that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. If you like the video, subscribe, like, of course, as I said.
And go watch it when it comes out so you can make your own opinion.
Movie. Yeah, and then we're gonna probably make a follow-up video.
Yeah, and it'll be on same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah, same bat time, same bat channel. Did Batman actually give head to Catwoman? Will be the main discussion point. And with that being said, we'll talk to y'all later. Peace out, everybody.
Peace out. If it flops, I'm gonna cry a lot.